In this example, we're going to solve this radical equation. And so remember, the first thing we always need to do when we're solving these radical equations is to get one of the square root expressions isolated on a side all by itself. And in fact, the equation has been given to us this way. So we have the square root of m plus 3, and that's going to equal negative 2m. All right, so let's start by using the inverse operation here. And what's the inverse operation of taking the square root of something? Well, it's squaring it. So we will start by squaring both sides of the equation. And that's nice because on the left, that square and square root will cancel each other out. So I'm left with just that m plus 3. And the right side, when I square this, it'll be negative 2m times negative 2m, so 4m squared. Okay, it appears as though we have ourselves a nice quadratic equation. So since the 4m squared is positive on the right side, let's go ahead and move those critters over to the right side as well. So we'll have 0 equals 4m squared minus m minus 3. And it looks like this will factor nicely, so we'll go ahead and do this. It looks like we have a 1 and a 3 and a minus and a plus. Okie dokie. So we have two factors here, and they're being multiplied together to give us 0. So we can use the multiplication property of 0, which states that when we do have these two things multiply to make 0, well, it's because, one of these is 0. So we'll account for both possibilities. So 4m plus 3 equals 0, and m minus 1 equals 0. So m is negative 3/4, and m is positive 1. Well, so here are two possible solutions for m. And remember, I say possible solutions because when we squared both sides up here, we opened ourselves up to the possibility of having some extraneous solutions. So we need to plug both of these values back into the original equation and ensure that they work. So I'll move over a little. So we have the square root of m plus 3, and that equals negative 2m. So let's start with the negative 3/4. So m equals negative 3/4, so we'll have negative 3/4 plus 3, and negative 2, and we'll put that over 1 times negative 3/4. Well, this addition here, we can get common denominators and say this 3 will be 12 over 4. And then we can go ahead and multiply here. The negatives cancel. Let's see, the 2 and the 4 can cancel. Looks like positive 3/2 over there on the right. And how about this? Negative 3 plus 12 is 9/4. So the square root of 9/4, well, the square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 4 is 2. 3 over 2 equals 3 over 2. So this first value for m, it works out okay. Very nice. Okay, well, let's try our m equals 1 now. So we had, once again, the square root of m plus 3 equals negative 2m. So 1 plus 3 is 4. The square root of 4 is 2. And negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Uh-oh. 2 equals negative 2? Well, that is definitely false. So that's a no-go. So m equals 1 will be an extraneous solution, which means the only solution to this problem is m equals negative 3/4. So again, here is that original problem and how we went through and worked it out. And make sure when you're solving radical equations, you always plug your solutions back into the original equation to ensure that they work.